Welcome to my channel, Power of Gratitude. I'm Agnes Low, corporate trainer and 𝒂𝒂𝒏𝒆𝒔𝒔 strength coach. Today, we have a very interesting topic, possibility to start a business after 50. My very special friend, she's going to talk about it more deeper. She is the managing owner of Cedar Management Services, financial and insurance service provider, chair for Brunei British Business Forum, president of the Young Entrepreneur Association of Brunei, representative of Brunei at ASEAN New Zealand Summit at Kuala Lumpur. She was graduated from Australia with her bachelor degree in marketing, finance, and management. Yvonne Kuan from Brunei. Welcome. You have your family-owned business, and after you worked in a corporate for HSBC Bank, you already been an entrepreneur before 50. Why is it you talk about this topic? Please share with us.
Thank you, Agnes. First of all, I want to thank you for insisting that we have this topic. I think it was the seed was planted since last year to say that, Yvonne, I want you to be in my YouTube channel. And I said, okay, let me see which I will talk about. I think it's meant to be because of what the career and how I have things have changed, and I have embarked into different things. So of course, when you were doing the introduction, it recalls me that all the things that you mentioned has been a big part of my life. The bank itself has given me so much foundation and learning. That was my first job of how to deal with customers, how to look into different businesses and interacting with the staff, and have so many great opportunities to do events as well. And yes, again, the involvement in my family business was another learning curve, how to maintain the culture of the family business, at the same time infuse my idea that will let it blossom. And I guess why now? I have to, in many ways, thanks to COVID. It wasn't for COVID, I would not have embarked into this another dimension of my life, which is in healing.
What is it about? What's next career after working with your family business? What are you doing now?
So it's something called Body Talk.
Okay.
So it's because of COVID, I was able to do online training for it. It's like everybody's sitting at home, what can we do? Because the second wave, that when it hit Brunei, it was quite tough. Almost everything has to close for 8 months. School, my daughter has been at home, and I said, what could I do? I want to do something more, that's something that I can learn, I can feel better. So I stumbled upon this Body Talk. Basically is a non-invasive for us to do getting like a consulting on a person's well-being by I can do it remotely or in person, and from there is a very scientific system where we go through every part of their psychological, emotional, and to pinpoint what's the issue. If it's something very major, it's something that's due to a disease, we will point them and guide them to seek for medical attention. We are not replacing the normal healthcare in terms of the medical healthcare, but it is it enhances. So Body Talk, osteopath, naturopath is very much well accepted over the world now. It's originally a system from Europe by the founder, Beltime, and from there it's almost 100 years old. So it's spread across the globe to different places. Australia, France, Singapore, England all have different trainers now. So yes, so I'm now a practitioner, so I could perform sessions on client one-to-one.
Okay.
It's more towards on the body of the person. It's like the name is actually very self-revealing. It's a body talk. So in a way, a simpler way to say body talk means the person, the patient's body talk to us. The body will tell us what's the issue. It can be a simple allergy that recently developed. It could be a stress when they're moving house, and that maybe their study is not set up the way they like it, and it can be bugging them. But the body talk session could help them to review what's the issue that bothers them. Or it can go as far and as deep as childbirth. Certain things that linger, maybe the person had when the mother delivered that person, the patient, they went through struggle or anything going on during the fetus stage. We can help them to see what's happening.
So after you discover for that client, then what is your next step?
Yes. Then of course, if something that's psychological or emotional issue, we could then help to tap it up. So a lot of times people in general say, oh, you're doing a body talk, it's been tapping, tap. I said it's more than tapping because we have a series of consultations, so to speak, of checking the therapy session first before we actually do the implementation of tapping to help them to release certain element of their energy or their burden so that they feel more aligned with themselves. So again, it's, as I said early on, it's not invasive. It's merely for us to, let's say, balance the cortices by tapping the back of the head all the way to the coccyx, to the occiput, all the way to balance themselves.
Okay, well, thanks for sharing. Now I know a little bit better. Assuming someone start their career after studying in the university or school, go to the workplace after roughly around 24 years old. And then you're talking about 50 years old, you start a second career or really set up their own business as a solo entrepreneur. I know how it feels like. So it's like 26 years working in workforce, coming to have this change. Wow, it can be quite fearful. And by your experience with all these different kind of work in the workplace, what do you think is the greatest preparation you will advise our audience?
Must it be business or it can be another career?
Yeah, another career, yeah.
Okay. Well, when you mentioned the word 24 years old, I can still vividly remember. I just graduated a couple of years from university. Totally have so many big ideas entering into the working environment. And I can laugh about it, but those starting point, it was like treacherous for me. It's like, oh my God, what I've studied, how come it doesn't apply really? But really, it was very relevant because it's all part of our growth, because what we learn and what we experience, it keep adding on to the foundation. So for a 24-year-old, how could they think about it? Probably they would not think about it at 50 because they think at 50 is so old. But hey, when we know 50, hey, there's so much energy, so much vigor, because there's so much experience. As like what you say, we have almost 30 years of experience.
Yes.
Under our sleeve, and there's so much to share. And I forgot, yes, you did mention that previously I was the chair for Brunei British Forum. I was Young Entrepreneur Association president. All those acts, it may look like it's pro bono, is voluntary, but all those associations will also add to what I do. So it's maybe not, it depends on the situation, but looking at where the world is now, it's very likely that someone will have to go through a second or third career easily. So if I look at for myself, it wasn't intentionally that, oh, the world have changed so much, I need to have a second career, or I need to change my career. But it's just somehow the opportunity come by, and I just grab it and just do it. And that's because I felt that I worked in the bank for 7 years. I want to see something else. I want to see the world in that sense. So I embarked into the family business. And from there, I actually do a lot more. And that allows me the flexibility of doing other things. Starting a new business may not be for everybody. So I would say there's two compartments. One is a corporate career. One is starting a business. I would suggest if anybody looking and thinking about something that they're passionate about, they want to do, but may not bring the income yet, do it on the side. We have a lot of time. We can spend the time hanging out with people for 5 hours, or using that to invest into starting a business, because it can be online nowadays. A lot of businesses are online. It has evolved as well. It's no longer brick and mortar. So they may be working with somebody, declare it with a company that you're going to start X, and then go for it, try it out, because then you don't have the fear is a lot less, because financially the person has been taken care by their day-to-day, their daily job, but they can try to explore this possibility of their second business. That's one. But if they do not want to do it so early, they can do it later. So that will kind of overcome the fear a bit more in terms of embarking into something new.
All these will really multiply the impact, how confidence, how skillful, and also build with the previous work experience can give you all confidence to start.
Oh yes, because exposure. I'm put on stages on the stage to speak in business forum. I upskilled my Mandarin when the opportunity came. I never knew I could do live translation. I did that. All this is we willing to take a small step.
Yes, yeah. Everything counts and everything matters. That's very true. Yeah, just like what you have mentioned, I remember our time for the last 17 or 18 years, we knew each other. The first time we met was in San Francisco, I think California, when we went to the mastermind program. And Yvonne was the one who received me from the airport as a new friend. And then we developed our friendship from there. And we have been traveled to so many different countries. And of course, traveling is fun. On the other hand, we follow the same mentor, our teacher, to learn so much. I think the empowerment can really help us to have the confidence to face any kind of changes in life. What is your best experience that you have experienced in your career journey?
What I feel that really have something that kind of anchor and carry me through is to really try out. Every time when I'm given an opportunity, grab it and give it a shot.
Yes,
I think that is more valuable than talking about it. Oh, I wish to do that. I would like to plan this when I'm 40 and 45. We can scale it, you know. Let's say they want to experience doing climbing a mountain. Maybe the aim is to do that, to climb the peak, but you can scale it back to do the base camp. At least have a feel, have a try, have a go. Obviously that will bring out a bit of my Australian culture when I was studying there for almost 10 years, is that everything is about giving it a go rather than like planning. I'm not saying planning is not important. Planning is very important. In fact, the more I experienced life, I felt that when I was younger, I tend to be more impulsive and try it out. But when I get to my, let's say 35, 45, it's different. I would plan a lot in my head, and then talk to my team certain things that I need to get. So I get buy-in, and I also involve the team, and then execute. And I find it the timing sometimes don't leave it too long. Of course, in life, we have a lot of things coming to us, but not allowing it to let it sit too long, it become cold and it's become harder to reignite. So when it's still fresh and ready, execute it and implement it and try with obviously a lot of thinking, going to it first.
Yeah. You are definitely is a great example of someone who execute quick and also have very strategic thinking. Let's see, if we fail, we always rise back and then get up very quickly. This is what we learned together, right? Yeah.
And a sense of humor, right?
Yeah.
The sense of humor to laugh at ourselves. And I laugh at myself, oh my gosh, why did I do that? Oh, okay. And it's okay. Because at 50, I would just say, it's like a new 30 really. Because if we're going to live to 80, 90, well, let's not take the world record of 120. Let's take 80, active 80 years. I said 30 years, Agnes. So I don't want to just be sitting down and just, strolling around the garden. I would like to do something more dynamic and still live life. And I'm still experiencing new things till now.
Yeah, I think having fun, laugh at anything that doesn't work out, and then just get on is very important. Great. I like this. It's fun.
I share a funny story.
Okay.
Can I have a couple of minutes? It's about we Asian have this thing about our age. It's very we can't reveal our age. Oh, that's so rude for you to ask for our age. And this mindset changed when I was 40. I remember probably I was about 44. My daughter was in Canada with my parents-in-law, and one day she came back to Brunei, and then she said, "Mama, can I ask you something? How old are you?" Because this was a funny story, sidetrack back, that when she was very little, like 3, 4, she always asked me, "Oh, how old are this auntie? How is that friends of mine?" I said that it's too complicated. At 3, everything seems old, right? So I don't want her to offend friends. So I said, "Oh, auntie, this auntie is 20. That auntie is 20. That uncle is 20. So to her, everybody's 20. Any adult is 20. Next year is 21. So by then, I think my count was 25. Okay. So she came and said, "So Mama, how old are you?" Well, so that day I thought, I'll tell her. I think she's ready. She's about 7 age. So I said, "Actually, Mama is like, I have to count. I don't remember my own age. I think if she's 7, I was 45. So I said, "Oh, Mama is actually 45. But I know when you were young, I told you I was only 20. Just, because at the time you don't really can comprehend ages." "Oh, Mama, you don't have to do that. I understand. It's okay." And from that point on, I hold myself high, and anybody ask my age, I will tell them how old I am. Because she also said to me that, "Mama, so you're actually 45, you're younger than Daddy, but you actually look a lot younger, you look like 20 something." So from then on, I just have no qualms to hold back how old I am. Then people say, "How old are you actually?" I say, "Oh, I sometimes volunteer to tell people how I am, so that I want to give myself the assurance." It's not about the part like, just to make people compliment. It's for myself, really. When I share my age, it's for myself to say that, Yvonne, age is just a number. How we think, how we live, that's the key. Yeah, so just a side story.
That's a very interesting and very, very powerful story. Or in the workplace, a lot of time you just have this concept. If you reveal the age that is a bit older, you have the fear that how much that organization feel that you are already outdated, or how much they want to get rid of you, or something that is negative. So I think it's all these things is our barrier and also hold us back to review age. Of course, it's also none of other people's business, honestly, the age. But if there is sometimes people ask, or it's also showing the experience, why not? So anyway, age is just a number. Now let's go back to 50 years old and you start business. Tell me, after you get to the point of your second career or even your third career, is there any time that you really want to quit? Because sometimes having a regular paycheck, going to corporate instead of running your own business or starting something new, there is quite a lot of fear, right? So did you have any time that you want to quit?
Yeah, when I quit the bank, when I embarked into the family business, there's the different element of the family business. One is doing, because it's a family business, there's already a very mature structure. But I also embarked into something new. I did franchise consultancy. So basically, if somebody wants to do their business, want to scale up to a franchise level, we could help them to write the program, the documentation to allow them to franchise to the whole nationwide or worldwide. And there at one point I was like saying, what? Doing business, I basically have to do everything. I have to be literally the receptionist in many ways, to the telephonist, to the data entry, to making sure bills are paid. Why am I doing that? And I forgot I had to talk to customers and sometimes have to convince them and to show them, what is good and what's recommendable. I always tell myself, if I have my wisdom that I have after a few years coming out, I probably can go back to a corporate world even better. But that's how life is, because things like what we shared earlier on, life experiences adds on top of one another. So I can't turn back that. But if I want to go back to corporate, I think I could handle that. Yeah. Pretty fun. Well, I'll make it fun. I'll make it fun for my team, with the people that I work with. So to answer your question, it is fearful. Yes, it can be very fearful with starting your own business, of course, because good or not good, we have to make it work. So I think what I'm very happy to see, but at the same time, that's how the world has evolved, is that people doesn't hesitate to start something and close it if it doesn't work, which is very good in that sense, because don't drag on if it doesn't work, just close it. But the flip side of it, which means when we are so used to certain companies that last for like 20 years, 50 years, no longer, and less companies will be heading that way, because they tend to, if it doesn't work, they just close it. So we will not see much legacy or much like family business, family names passing on in that. So, but that's how it has evolved. That is quite apparent now.
Yeah, I can tell that you are never a quitter. Yeah, I mean, even though we are all human, we do have the fear and we do have the feeling about considering, should we stop or should we shift a little bit, twist a little bit, the turn. You are never a quitter, which is a very good role model for your team and for many friends as well.
So maybe, like, for example, right now, I may have embarked into Body Talk, but at the same time, my financial insurance business are still ongoing, but it's just my involvement has changed. So to give the audience another perspective is that the bread and butter is still there, but I could be working on something else because I manage my own time. So that's the great thing about being an entrepreneur, that we work really hard. There's no illusion about it. We work super hard, in fact, as you can share. But it's very rewarding when we see what we choose to do, what we put our heart and mind into it, and it comes to fruition. Is really beautiful. May not earn a lot of money all the time, but that will come. But if we do it right, we attract the right people, we have the right team to partner with, it will flourish. Yeah.
Yes. Wow, this is wonderful. What is one final thought that you want to leave our listeners with about starting a business or second career or third career after 50? What is your final thought that you can share with us and leave to our audience?
Really go for it. And sit down, think about it. And whenever you think about that thing you want to start, does it make you smile? Does it make you keep you awake at night because you can't wait to do something about it tomorrow? If those are the feelings that you get, and you talk to people, your eyes glow and your face brighten, instead of shying away from it, that's what you should start. And what's going to happen? Just give it a go. And if it doesn't work, say, hey, at least I tried it. It doesn't work for me. I thought it worked, but it doesn't work. So at least that comes and that counts as part of our life experience, isn't it?
Yes, yes. Wow, I really like it. Thank you very much. Yeah, it makes me feel so warm after you reminded me that there is something that I can't wait every day to do, is something that I'm passionate. Now, my channel is about power of gratitude. Who is one specific person you like to show gratefulness and gratitude?
So many in our life. Do I have to only pick one? Can I have three?
Okay.
The first one that comes to mind is actually my father, my late father. If he's still alive, he'll be 100 this year. How cool is that? Instead of he has done so much for all of us, so much. Not just because we are his children. He has done a lot to his community, to his distant relatives. He's been supporting them financially, and really is the mental support that he gives to all these distant relatives. And all the association work, perhaps that's why I kind of is living in my blood, that I always thought of, I don't have to do so much because it does take a lot of effort and energy, but I'm still doing. So I'm now involved in the Australian alumni. So that's Dad. Dad he gave so much, and then he never expect and ask for favor to return. Next is Mom. Mom, because she's a home figure, a lot of times people take it for granted that a home figure are not important, but she has nurtured me to be more loving, more connecting, and actually she has her way of giving through her cooking, to her taking care of everybody. She's 88. She still cook up a whole table of a feast, so that which grandchild like which dish, which child like which dish is taken care of. It's amazing. And the third person, I hope it doesn't sound too weird, but it's actually ourselves, really, myself, because if I don't appreciate me, I can give the gratitude to other people. So I'm not perfect, okay? I have lots of flaws, but I look at what I am grateful of, that part of me, and enlarge that, and the flaws will slowly disappear, smaller, hopefully. So that's my dream. Thank you, Agnes.
Wow, thank you so much, Yvonne. I really like your sharing. So as to summarize, your topic is go for it. Don't wait, because never is too late, and it's time to start. If we have the passion, why don't we get the fire goes on, because it always can affect the environment. And thank you so much, Yvonne, for all your sharing. So wish you all the best of your second business and or second career in your life. All the best to you. Now, if you like this video, audience, please give me a like and also thumbs up follow and subscribe and push the notification bell. Thank you very much, Yvonne. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Thank you, Agnes.
Bye.